Hello everyone, welcome back. It's hopefully the end of your first week of school. It's gone well. You're staying healthy and like your teachers, and it's good to see your friends and all that kind of stuff again. And here we are ready for another cooking class. Today you're going to do a ham and cheese spiral, which is something really easy to take for lunch. They're great. You can eat them hot, you can eat them cold. I'm also going to teach you how to make a cheater Caesar salad dressing. The bottle stuff is great. It's also really easy to make it on your own. And I know that most of you really like Caesar salad, so this is another good little thing, little hack to have in your pocket, along with homemade croutons. The reason I want you to make the Caesar salad dressing today is, first of all, because Caesar salad goes well with what we're making if you want to have it as like a light meal, so something hot, the ham and cheese twists and then a salad to go with it. And also because next week, or the following week I should say, you're also going to have romaine lettuce to make another Caesar salad to go with the pasta dish that we're going to make. So make it double the recipe. You've got enough, it keeps in the fridge for a week or so, and you're good to go. So let's get started. I'm going to just check my computer here. I keep looking at it, like I know how to make these things without looking at the recipe, but then I realize that I just go and do what I'm doing, and it contradicts sometimes what the recipe says to do. So sometimes I have to pay attention to the recipe and actually make it the way it says. What we're making today is, as I said, the ham and cheese pinwheels. So first of all, we've got puff pastry that goes in there, and we've got cheese. Your recipe calls for mustard, ham, and cheese, which is what I made them with to show you. But I'm going to do a different variation on it because I want you to know that you can do all kinds of cool things with this recipe. So for this one, we're going to use the puff pastry, and we're going to spread some spinach dip on it instead of mustard or mayonnaise. So this is the spinach dip that we really like. It's from Fresh's Best. It's made in Kamloops. You can get it at Meridian Meats. You can get it, I think it's Save-On. But we love it. We eat a ridiculous amount of it. So yeah. So that's going to be the spread that we're putting on here. So here it goes on the puff pastry. Spread it all over. Leave a little bit around the edge, a little bit of room, because when you roll, sometimes it'll squish out a little bit and go to the edge anyway. So we're gonna do that, get it all spread out. You can use a rubber spatula if you like. That's a little more efficient than what I'm doing. The next thing we're gonna put on here is a goodly helping of grated cheese. So this happens to be aged cheddar, which of course you've heard me talk about, the older the cheese, the more flavor there is. So that's what we're putting on there. I'm also gonna sprinkle some chopped tomatoes on here. These came out of my garden. My husband grew these. I'm pretty impressed. So these are lovely little cherry tomatoes that he's grown. Nice to go in here. I'm just trying to show you how really versatile this recipe is. You can do all kinds of neat stuff. And the other thing we're going to put in here is a little bit of bacon. Now this doesn't look like any bacon you've ever seen because this is vegan bacon. I have a friend of mine who's a vendor at the market that makes vegan meat products, and they're amazing. So this way, the vegetarians in my life get all the bacon deliciousness without compromising their principles, and that's important. You want to be able to eat as your conscience guides you, and how it matters. Okay, so got everything all laid out. The next step, note that in this package it comes on this lovely piece of plastic rolled up, so you want to use that plastic. So we're going to turn it sideways and not pour oil all over the counter. And we're going to roll this up in like a jelly roll. Okay. Try and get it as tight as you can. Okay, you see how that works, but you can see how the filling is spreading and it's coming out the ends. So we're gonna wrap this up. And turn it sideways. And then we're gonna roll it back up in the plastic and put it back in the fridge. Because you can see it's really kind of soft right now. You don't want it that soft, it just makes it hard to deal with. So again, you're using the plastic that it came with. We're gonna wrap it up, pop it in the oven, or in the fridge to chill. That'll harden the dough back up. So it'll be about 20 minutes in the fridge. In the meantime, here's the one I did earlier. You can see it's quite a bit stiffer. So we'll roll it, unroll it. See, much stiffer. And then we're going to take a serrated knife. This is a chef's knife. This is what you see me use most of the time. This is a serrated knife. See, you'll note that the blade is all kind of bumpy. It's for bread, it's for soft skinned things. So that's why we're gonna use it. So you're gonna, I actually trimmed it earlier, trimmed the ends off to make it nice and flat. Then you're gonna cut it like this in slices, half an inch thick or so. Okay, look at that, all rolled up. Isn't that beautiful? So that's the ham and the cheese already in there with the mustard and mayo. I'm not a big fan of mustard, so I put mustard and mayo on here instead. And they go on the cookie sheet. You've got to give them room to spread out, because if you don't, they'll get all gummy and they'll stick together and then they're just nasty. So, because puff pastry is called puff pastry for a reason, because it puffs up. Puff pastry is made by, I'm just gonna roll this up and put it back in the fridge. I'm just gonna bake a few of these, and I'll bake some more of these later. If you like, you can slice them all up like that and freeze them flat on the cookie sheet. And then when they're frozen, put them in a bag, keep them in the freezer, and that way they're ready for whenever you want them. So we're gonna pop these in the oven. And while they're baking, we'll make the cheater Caesar salad dressing and the croutons. So let's do the croutons first. Stale bread, awesome, awesome for croutons, because when you toast it, it freshens it back up and gives it all its wonderful flavor. Again, this is where your serrated knife comes in. So I've done most of them already for you, but I wanted to show you, this is half of a bun. You can use a bun, you can use garlic bread, whatever. So we're gonna cut it. You see how look at the difference, how that goes through versus how that goes through. This is much better. So then we're gonna cut it again in half. Now you can, like anything that I tell you about, you can make it to suit yourself. If you like big croutons, then cut your pieces of bread big. If you like little croutons, cut your bread little. It's really up to you. I've been to restaurants where they serve it all foo-foo and fancy and think that great big croutons that don't fit in your mouth are a good thing. Frankly, I'm not sure how that is possible, but you know, to each his own, right? Okay, so a little bit of bread. You're gonna put some oil on here. Now, if you've still got some olive oil, that's the best oil to use. But if you haven't, then you should have still have some vegetable oil, and that will work just fine. Then I like to put Italian seasoning on them. The other thing I really like is Cajun seasoning. I love a spicy crouton in my Caesar salad. I had that once years and years and years ago. Cajun chicken Caesar, and it was amazing. Forgot salt. salt. Some things you don't have to salt because they've already got salt in them. We talked about that last week. So you just mix it all up. Try to keep it in the bowl. You can get your hands in there if you like. Mix it around. And we're gonna pop that on a cookie sheet as well and pop it in the oven. You'll notice with the ham and cheese pinwheels that I lined the cookie sheet first, because with the cheese coming out, of course, it'll stick. So then we're gonna put our croutons in the oven, and you just bake those until they're brown and toasty. Super easy to do. Last but not least, we're going to make the Caesar salad dressing, okay? Now, Caesar salad dressing is basically fancy mayonnaise. When it's made completely from scratch, you make it like you would a mayonnaise, which, in case you don't know, is nothing more than eggs with oil very slowly drizzled into the eggs so that it comes together, which is what we call emulsify. That means the eggs and the oil stay together, because normally they won't. So when you beat it in properly, it emulsifies it. This particular recipe takes a shortcut there and uses plain Greek yogurt. Now, this is fat-free Greek yogurt, so that makes it a little bit healthier because it reduces the fat. Having said that, you can do the same thing with mayonnaise and make a cheaper Caesar dressing. But we're just gonna stick to the Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. This one's actually Skyr or Skyr, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's an Icelandic. Same thing, high in protein, low in fat, really nice and thick, which is what you want. So we need a half a cup of that. Now, if you like, you can double it right from the start, or you can just make the recipe as it stands to see if you even like it. Because if you don't like it, then there's no point in making double the recipe, is there? Okay. So half a cup of Greek yogurt. And then 1.5 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, which I happen to have right here. Very finely grated Parmesan cheese. That works really well. 2.5 tablespoons of Worcestershire, or teaspoons I should say. This is a teaspoon, so we'll just measure right into here. Don't you start barking, Remy. I have to switch hands. You notice how stable I am? 1, 2, half. 3 cloves of garlic. I took the liberty of chopping it ahead of time. So there's your chopped garlic. And then we're going to get 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice, really important, because this recipe also calls for the zest. So get a grater, get your lemon, make sure you washed it. Take the zest off. This is the rind or the zest. Just a little bit. You don't want to get into the white part because that is very bitter. It's called the pith. You can say whatever you like about that and have as much fun with that word as you like. But we don't want to use the lemon pith. So, there's the lemon zest. That's gonna go in here. And then we're gonna put the fresh lemon juice in. So, lemons, you wanna get the most juice as possible out of them. Take the lemon, roll it like this. This breaks down all the membranes inside and releases the juice. Of course, I have done this before and split the lemon as I'm doing it, which makes a hot mess. So there's that. Then you cut it in half. Now, there are fancy things called juicers, little citrus things that you do. I've always just used my hand, squeeze the juice right into my hand, because that catches the seeds. See, there's the seeds. One lemon will yield you approximately 2 tablespoons of juice. So there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So we're gonna go with half a lemon in here. There's your seeds caught, end of problem. And then you mix it all up and let it sit so that the flavors come together, or meld, if you will. This is nice, thick, creamy, garlicky Caesar salad dressing. Now, on the random off chance that you happen to have anchovy paste, traditional Caesar salad dressing actually calls for anchovy paste. Not everybody has that in their house, but you know, stranger things have happened, right? And we also need a little bit of mustard. That goes in there. And oil. Olive oil if you've still got it. If not, just regular oil. A little bit of salt. And I forgot the pepper grinder. Pepper grinder, not that one. Cracked, fresh, ground pepper. Okay. And there you have it. Cheater Caesar dressing. Super, super quick and easy. Yummy. And perfect to dress your Caesar salad with. So, let me know what you think of that one, okay? Now, according to my timer, I still have 11 minutes left on those spirals. And we all know how I feel about babbling on and having you suffer through that, so we're not gonna do that. I baked a couple earlier so that you can see what they look like. So let's get those. And there you have the ham and cheese spirals. If you notice how it's all puffed up, you can see the layers of the pastry. You can see the ham and the cheese. These are so good. They're good hot, they're good cold. Throw them in your lunch, have them for breakfast, for heaven's sake. So, nice light lunch for you. Croutons to go with your Caesar salad dressing, ham and cheese pinwheels, lunch, dinner. Do whatever you like in the middle. As I said, I've given you some other suggestions. You saw the one that we did today with the spinach dip and the tomatoes. So many different options for you, just to have fun. Basically, the pastry's a vehicle to fill with whatever moves you and makes your tummy grumble. So enjoy those. Talk to you all next week. Bye.